Hi YouTube, I hope you're doing good. I'm having an okay day. Doug came in from outside trying to fix the lawnmower and it was hot out. Turned his air conditioner on and we blew out a fuse. So I rerouted a couple things with an extension cord until he gets that fuse so he can get it put in there. It's like, and they're getting like to be about $5 a piece. So um, yeah, see, we just have old wiring. That's all there is to it. Nothing we can do about it besides do what we're doing. But the thing is, I had the dishwasher on too, and then the refrigerator came on, all on the same circuit with his air conditioner. So excuse my noise of my air because he's trying to take a break and I'm trying to get cold air to go out in that direction. So yeah. Anyway, but yeah, it's been kind of a weird morning. I'm still waiting to hear from somebody that works in a so-called leadership position in my state to answer some of my questions when they get back to me. So we'll just see how that goes. Oh, you know what I heard this morning? Joe Biden was talking with, it didn't specifically say, or I missed it. There's a little clip I shared on my Facebook, but he was saying first that he was talking to people on some kind of, maybe it's at Space Force, that's probably it, but telling them that, oh no, like a lot of people in his cabinet are like Native American, just like my vice president. I'm like, it's like, first off, she was a black woman. Then she became Puerto Rican. Actually, her parents are black and Puerto Rican. There's not an ounce of North American, Native American in that woman, and they're two different people. So like I said, you know, anyway. What a bunch of shit. Just when I've been talking about that, I knew they're gonna. It's just like old Lizzie Borden Warden keeps saying. Elizabeth Warren said lied to get her job as an intern, like 35 years ago or something. Has been working in the White House ever since because she said she was Native American, and they did a blood test on her for, one of them ancestry things, and she does not have 1 ounce, not one speck. It's just more of their lies and their bullshit. But at the end of this interview that Biden did, he was like, made some reference. I can't remember how what context it was in, but he was like, yeah, it's like the poor, oh, I'm like the poor relative that comes to your house and stays too long. And I thought, okay, that's kind of um, horrible towards poor people, but he's right as far as being in our faces like a poor relative, because he's the one living off of us, not the other way around. So yeah, he's more than a poor relative. He's more like hemorrhoid, you know. So anyway, or for you younger people, um, a really bad zit that you can't get rid of, So anyway, even worse than that, right in the middle of your face. Yeah, that's more like it. But I thought, how rude. These people, they can just sit there and throw the shit out there. But then when you say something back, oh yeah, yeah, you're the bad one. No, not. Oh, that's what the headline. That's what he said. Native Americans are taking over America. Well, duh, shouldn't they? you know, but not in the White House. You know, it'd be more like Niagara Falls as a backdrop. You know, as they go on and overlook and say, hey, you know, you community by community, do your own thing. You're doing great. We love you. See you later. Bye. You know. So anyway, yeah, I'm gonna share. Last night I had watched a show. I'll tell you about it in a minute, and my a couple of thoughts, just my thoughts, but I would really like to get some other opinions and thoughts on it, or not, but just to share. But some information I read from the Masons, and I can recognize it when it's there, and I can recognize it when it's had a remix on it too. So, um, just like they say, is old scriptures, they're doing this with what they call the Gospel of Emmanuel, which is Jehemelech or something like that. You'll see it. I'll just put the link and put a manual on there, but I'll tell you about it in a minute. Supposedly written by Judas Iscariot, that they say is a different person that actually betrayed Jesus, called a Harriet. And I'm like, oh, you people are just too much. Yeah, there was well, it'll all come out. I'm gonna wait for somebody else that has some information to be able to really slam dunk these people. So I'll just wait on that for a while. But with this last night, okay, it was on Leak Project, and a guy named Micah Dank, who I've noticed before, is interested in different texts and whatever, and just so happens to be a 32nd degree Mason, which he said is like about the highest you can go. Oh, about really like 33, and then 3 times over Grand Past Master with Shriner rights, and then becoming a Jesuit, and a few things, yeah. There's quite a bit above that. But I thought it was interesting that Rex had asked him point blank that they didn't they uh, uh, worship the female, and he would not really answer straight. And then when he asked him other questions, he was like, "Oh, we don't really talk about that in the lodge." As far as like these scriptures and different things and who thinks what, and is a yeah, I think that's what the word is, to uh, that you have to believe in God in order to even get into the lodge. Yeah, it says a deity is the words. Um, so basically, the Eastern Star, um, if Cyrus A were Satan and Cyrus B were Isis, that's them too. If the sun was Christ and the moon was his wife, that would be them too. And it's those four, the four winds of the earth, and the um, four elements that are battling, the good ones against the bad ones. Except the bad ones did trick the good ones, but they just thought they were tricking them in the end. And they've had their visions shown to them exactly what's going to happen for their betrayal. You know, because there was 2 girls that were twins and 2 boys that encompass the energy, which is the Christ Spirit, which is God, and God is one person, one male person that spoke us into existence. So that's um, some of what I actually know and some of what I'm feeling and the information I'll share. That's what I like about Rex. He, the Leak Project. He has really gotten good at looking at everything from every angle, especially not taking all these old texts that they say are more ancient than scriptures and just saying, oh, yeah, yeah, we believe this. As far as you or I know, like the Egyptian Book of the Dead, that could be just a couple 100 years old. Who knows, right? Unless we were physically there or wrote them ourselves. We literally do not know. So just sharing things, and when you hear it, just listen with your heart, and you'll get feelings about everything they're saying about what Christ said about homosexuality, and then Michael will put in his opinion. For if you think, okay, let's put it this way, God is not a liberal Satanist. So if you listen with any information with just that in mind, that helps right there. That's the difference right there. God is a conservative, God is a family minded person, and the people that are trying to make it so families don't exist, that women aren't women and men aren't men, um, and trying to confuse the next generation of children. They're putting out some of what is true and some of what isn't true. Um, Things that I've been warned and read, and I've got like way back. So they're putting this information out now, and I've got writings over on Facebook and other places out there for adding up to 20 years now, that far ahead of them, because I literally in 1990 contacted the largest lodge in existence at that time was in Philadelphia, and got down on their case and told them exactly what I was doing and why I was doing it and who taught me. And I don't care if they try and come against me. I prefer they try, because then they expose themselves to my good energy or directed bad stuff towards them that will slow them down. It's like if you're running a race, but the guy has a gun that's next to you and they're going to shoot you, if you can have somebody in the crowd come out and slap that gun out of his hand and he's still got to keep running or die, they just leveled the playing field. That's what's going on. We are working together to level the playing field, you know. So because good people never expected bad people to be so nasty. That's what happened, and that's the lesson that everybody's learning on this planet. There are two types of souls. They belong by themselves, and so do we. You know, and that's I really do not like this thing where that David Icke started, that we're fractals of God, where God experiences itself in another situation, whatever. We're all individual souls, and this Mikey's like we experience our children as a part of ourself, or kind of like that effect. No, there again, yes, parts of us are in that child, but there's also ancestors before from each side, and that is an individual soul. Each person is individual. The thought of the woman came out of the mind of man. We came from his rib, literally. And but if you look into the word rib, You know, like somebody tells you a joke, they rib you. That's words spoken. We came from the spoken word, and then we created together the whole situation. That's how one became many. But the individualness is all important, very important to holding your energy together as something they're not able to ascend, and they are not creators. So, and you don't get together and manifest. Um, we are we're alone here, basically, helping each other, you know, like a family. Not all connected like a bunch of viruses that conglomerate to make one big virus, you know. So we're kind of like that poor family that gets together and we have more extravagant things and a nicer time, or just a nicer time, and doesn't we don't care who stays how long because we're happy to see them, you know. So anyway, unless they're really a pain then, but yeah. So yeah, just what's going on my mind with listening. So I won't really go into too much more detail on that. Just if you think conservative, non-conservative, family minded, not family minded, and then you'll see the difference in the two type of people. You know, the non-family minded did pretend that they were family minded. That created more issues on this planet, trying to uh, make clay stick to steel. It doesn't work, you know. And you can't make a sword out of clay, you know. And you don't eat the shaft or the tear, you have the head of it, the wheat, you know. So, yeah, there's a lot going on in the world and it's spiritual. Darn right it is. But like I say, they expose themselves, and that's a really good thing because then they need to know and they need to ask themselves, because even as they're saying it, the look on their faces when they are telling untruths, and they know they are, just to keep their position in the world flowing, you know, it's like, no, this ain't cutting it, buddy. Just because you pay dues doesn't mean my brain doesn't work. My brain didn't stop working when you reached into your pocket, you know, for your society. You know. Yeah, so anyway, I have some funky lighting right now going on, and I'll have one more cigarette with you and visit, and then call it a day. I did knock out my exercises early in the day so I wouldn't have to suffer at night doing them. But now that I've gotten in the routine of it all the time now, it's like I'll still do them at night either way, which is okay, you know. But it takes willpower. You just have to want it bad enough, you know. Well, except if you're injured or easing into things, you do have to take some baby steps with some stuff, you know. So I know that. Yes, lifting your foot in front of your face is a good exercise. Yeah, it's easier to do from a sitting position, but possible to do when you're standing too. It's a good stretch. My thing used to be, And I did it for a few people just out of pure intimidation. But I would walk up to a refrigerator and stick my foot on the top of the refrigerator and leaning backwards, all the way backwards. And then I'd stand back up and I'd look at him. It's because this one guy was getting like real sparky with me, saying like, "Oh, I took karate," and then I just walked over and did that, and he's like, "Jesus, whoa," you know? Yeah, that something like that will really shut down a big monster, especially when they know they're slow and stupid and really out of shape in comparison. So it's like, yeah, no bendy, haha, too bad. I'll bend you in half. So yeah, I've been showing you little things, but I'm going to show you some other things. So keep just doing little exercises with me, and then when you get to more of a not just beginner but more intermediate, about 6 months, if you just do a little something once a week, 6 months from now you're going to feel like doing more. So, and when all this shenanigans and bullshit is done on this planet, I'll be able to teach and show people some other really cool things I know in their life to help enhance their lives and your lives, you know? So, but no, it's not the time for like recipes or gardening. It kind of is and it kind of isn't, but not for me, you know? Or even like prepping. I mean, I've canned and I've got a dehydrator and whatever. I do it all like that, but that's not. That just comes from living life the hard way, not in the city. When you're not in the city most of the time in your life, you have a lot of work, but no fluoride. So, yeah, that does help. Yeah, so I've been feeling really, really great and just feeling stronger and more optimistic. And you would think in these chaotic times that people are going through, like how do you stay happy? How do you not worry? And, I don't know, because I always make it somehow. That's how I really do. I listen to my common sense and logic are freaking the common would be the people that are listening to God, that they would call us commoners, when all reality the most royal thing you could do is honor your father and do his will, not their will, and you'll be guided. you know they have to suck up to get what they're getting, and they only get it once. you know and this is the last chance they have. So they have a time limit. They've tried changing time. They've tried psyching people out with fake Mandela effects. They've tried it all: hypnotism, sound altering, even with the CERN, with the Schumann resonance and the Arcadian rhythm of the earth, and everything they've tried to change is already pre planned by God. It's like, gee, thank you for the help, idiots. Yes, just walk down into your cage. Aren't you intelligent? You know. So, anyway, que sera, sera. Whatever will be, will be. that's a good song. I just haven't thought about that for a while. Doris Day. She was a pretty cool lady. A little goofy, but yeah, I liked her. Yeah. Who I really, really, really liked was Audrey Hepburn for an actress, and for acting and dancing would be Ginger Rogers with Fred Astaire. They were just so graceful, just beautiful. And let's see, Lucille Ball. If you saw some of her stuff, like I'm gonna say like 1823, or I think the first thing I saw her in was something like 1818, or and she was just like a kid. She was such a phenomenal actress, dancer, singer, everything, not just comedian, but yeah, she rocked at that too. And she really kept it pretty clean the whole time. More so over, like, I sort of liked Carol Burnett, but she was a little more freakish, you know. So I'm not really big on the clown show of this world. You know, I like normal, you know, like that kind of suits my taste. Well, I'm going to run over to my history and pick up that Emmanuel. It's some really good listening. There are some things in there that are true. I am not going to tell you what they are, and but I will say this: um, I think the true wife of Christ wrote those scriptures, and they were usurped, stolen, altered, and now being pushed as the word of Jesus Christ. And there's Christ Jesus too, two different people. So are Jesus and Christ. And but if you think, if it sounds like a man or a woman when you're listening to, and then try to kind of, when he's speaking his magic in there, just be careful, be real leery, because you'll see the numbers for the scripture of what is out of that scripture, and then he'll have inserts of what